Hello, hello, and welcome along to the 42nd episode of Beldania. Today I have playing with me, Joe.
Hello, that is me, and my character is Hennick Littlefield. He's a halfling farmer and a bard.
I have Rico.
I am Rico, and I'll be playing Torin Goldenbrand, the Dragonborn Paladin.
I have Jamel.
Hey guys, Jamel here. I'll be playing Kiavo Duskmane, Leonin Order of the Scribes Wizard.
I have Josh.
I'm Josh. I will be playing Sebastian Belmont, the Abjuration Wizard.
Shit, I didn't update the overlay. And I have Bruno.
Hello, I'm playing Rosania Veselor, Circle of Stars Druid.
Sorry, I completely forgot to update. So it says Alessio McPherson. Oh well. McPherson is not dead, he's just departed.
Doing his own thing.
When we last left off, it was a little bit messy, but we were in the wonderful village of Sandrian. We had returned home, and we noticed that a few things were amiss, awry, askew, if you will. Mostly that things seem to have grown up out of the wilderness and such, way more quickly than they should have done. And indeed, we found out that everything is blossoming and growing faster than it should in the lands of Jorston, or at least in the relatively local area. We also had a strange situation where for 36 hours, night and day passed in only 2 hours, as the world span fast upon its axis for a period of time. We could not find out why. In this time, Yagra thought she might die, as she was spun out of time, but instead what happened is she lost her foresight and gained normal sight, which she did not seem happy about. But with all those massive world events happening, it couldn't overshadow the fact that it was a homecoming. There was a wedding going on when you got back. To get out the other notebook. Where are we? Between Dorcray, that's her name, and Dahlia. I got it. Between Dorcray and Dahlia, who originally were split up when she decided to go and sign on to the Adventurers Guild. But after she lived up the city life and he came to visit her, they actually discovered they still quite liked each other. Therefore had a marriage, which you turned up on wedding day, because why wouldn't you? And that was great, and everything was lovely, and then, all sorts of drama and trauma happened. Hennick and Gia worked together to use a combination of slow and plant growth to effectively cast Plant Slow, which will prevent too much growth from clogging up the river, which was the primary issue that was happening in the area. But also, this is the small stream, not the large river that goes through Lovalam. And also just to prevent the massive overgrowth of trees and stuff from causing problems and damaging buildings and all sorts of things like that. And in the lull after the storm is where we resume. And over to you guys. Good day.
I think Sebastian will probably, obviously, like last episode, was spending some time with his folks. But after that, as per usual, we'll be tweaking around with some magic. I would like to spend a couple of days while we're here trying to combine a couple of spells.
Okay. Let me just jump backwards slightly, because what I should have said is it's approximately 11 o'clock in the morning. It is the day after the day that the this world turned too fast. You may all take a long rest prior to today. Hey Josh, you were trying to combine some magic.
Yes. Sorry, you want me to tell you what?
Well, it would be nice. I mean, you can just
maybe you should guess.
I can guess, but I think
no, that's fine. Yeah, so I would like to try and combine fly and where is it?
Absorption
Somewhere.
shield.
Yes, that.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
I'd love to. That's 27.
I would assume that means the DC, but bear with me. The document that tells me the DC is not open yet. Getting there. Spell combining. Here we go. 14 plus the combined level of both spells, which is absorption sort of second level spell. Is that correct?
Yes, and
And flies a
third.
third level spell. So 19 was the DC, so you passed it with nice ease. You may have the 4th level sphere of absorption. This will create an absorption shield around you in a sphere and allow you to glide gently through the air. That will, however, consume a whole day of experimenting. That'll be it for that day. What's everybody else up to? Bastian is magically creating spells.
Well,
You.
I imagine that basically, like, Torin would have likely offered up the Golden Brand estate as sort of like home base for everyone.
Mhm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep.
Right.
It hasn't been lived in or bought up by
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mhm.
But was it rebuilt slightly, or it just
Yeah. So it was re-walled and re-floored. They didn't
Okay.
repopulate it with the furniture that burnt away, so you've got a fairly empty downstairs. And obviously, your parents would have taken most of their assets with them.
course.
So it's a bit of a shell house, but it's still a well-built house in the area that is, because it was the downstairs that mostly was gutted right by the flames. So the areas that are still intact, especially the upstairs, is still, very beautiful. The hard wooden floors are looking great.
Torin would have likely gone around and tried to gather up whatever, like a large table, I assume, to be sort of like our
I'm sure the inn
planning.
will provide that, yeah.
Yeah, some things like that, and I assume that he's been trying to, horribly make tea or whatever food that he can provide because his mom did everything for him or his maids did everything for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just fucking an inept little boy. But yeah, I think for the most part, just trying to put back together the house,
Mm-hmm.
and just being there for any of the ongoings in the house. I assume that we're gonna try to scry on some peoples at some point, and I feel like obviously Rosa has really nowhere to stay, so he would have put up a room, probably offered up his own room.
Bear with me a second. I do actually think that I have the Golden Brand estate in my assets somewhere, so let me pull that up. Because I know that you probably don't remember them, as the last time we used them was in Rico's introductory episode, which was a little while ago, if we're being honest. We have the outside. I have this thing that it shouldn't do. Okay, let's lose half the height of the bridge. That is the outside of the house.
Lovely.
I'm not sure it's still quite as intact, but I do have the interior coming relatively shortly. But yeah, you're able to gather, furniture and such that is needed, and make it sort of a homely place for people to stay. And I guess, Rosania obviously didn't have a place to stay, so that is very relevant. Obviously, Sebastian will be staying at Sebastian's home. Hennick, you've got a garden, but not much of a house. The outhouse was great, right? If we remember, the porch remained perfectly intact, and everything else was burnt to the ground. I believe, and Chiavo, your little shack, although it was somewhat still intact, I'm not sure. Would you have kept it in your name, having left Sandringham for like 2.5 months? Or would you have allowed it to sort of return to being used by the populace?
I would have allowed it to have returned to use, but I would obviously need to make sure my books were all kept somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, they built a little school tower, right? So they probably put them in one of the rooms there.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's perfect then. Yeah.
I mean, you could transfer them here if you prefer.
You can now, yeah.
Set you up a little private library.
That would be cool. Yes, that would be very, very useful.
And then we spend the rest of the episode holding a murder mystery in Torin's ridiculous mansion.
It is quite ostentatious, that picture, isn't it?
Welcome to my humble abode. Yeah.
Yeah, except the only problem is like everything below like this didn't work.
Yeah, just
everything below this line is burnt. The stairs, sort of like these stairs are missing, you know. It's enough, right? It's tolerable. Beautiful home. Yeah, so once you've gathered everybody in turn, what are you doing with your time? Are you just sort of redecorating, or are you also...
I mean, whatever handiwork that he can do. I mean, like if there's stairs missing, he would likely, like very shoddily, probably replace them with like planks of wood versus like an actual framed stair. But like whatever he can to sort of just make things more comfortable and easy.
Yeah, are you doing anything sort of off-timey as well? Are you off? I don't know. Are you out on the hunt? Are you spending too much time at the tavern? What does Torin do with his downtime?
Well, you know what? Actually, it's been quite a while since Torin's even had the opportunity to hunt sort of like leisurely. So I imagine that he would have likely gone out once
in the
or
foothills of the
twice.
mountains, you know so well. Go ahead and give me a kind of perception, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with perception. Go ahead and give me a perception check, just to see what you see as you go out into the foothills of the mountains.
Why do I have advantage?
Because you have a sentinel shield.
A sentinel shield. I don't think that's usually only in battle, though. No.
No. Oh, it's just it keeps telling you to look where you missed things. Like, hey, look over there. You know. Why
24.
Not? 24, yeah. So as you're out and about, and obviously you do manage to hunt quite successfully, you will notice that there's quite a lack of bird life specifically. You do see wildlife on the ground. You're able to hunt a stag, for example, other such things, and goats. But a severe lack of bird life to what you would expect.
Like very little birds, or like
yeah, you saw like
no
two birds in like 12 hours, instead of seeing like 20 or 30. You have no idea why. You obviously see that the ground and grass have grown up quite a lot. The undergrowth is thick leading up the mountain. But as you reach the edge of the mountains, so that is to say, I'll just pull us over here. As you reach sort of pretty much there, that line, everything beyond it is growing at a normal pace. Or somebody's doing a really good job of maintaining the land. But you hit a line, right? And the grass is like completely overgrown and then really thin. It is an exact line.
Interesting.
Yeah, but other than that, you're able to hunt and have some fun. And while you're out doing that, what on earth is Hennick doing?
Oh, Hennick's got a lot to do. Bustling around, trying to sort of take care of some of the, I don't know, actual town stuff that he would kind of want to do. But really, he has to just look into what's going on. And so is Gia still around, or is she off in her business?
Yes. She was meant to depart for her business and didn't. So what I'll say is I will retcon that she has gone off on her travels and will return in a day or two.
Sure, okay.
So there's definitely interacting with Gia can be done, just not in the next 48 hours.
Then he will invite only Rosanna along and sort of just find her wherever she's been hanging around here, and perhaps staying at Rico's or Torin's house, as we were saying, and just sort of say, I want to look around and check in with some folks and back at my farm and sort of things, but I'm feeling almost like an outsider myself at this point, and I thought it might be nice to have your perspective along, and you can see things a bit the way I'm seeing them at this point. Would you care to come around the town with me?
Well, I was planning on tidying up Torin's estate, but I suppose...
He's an industrious chap. He'll take care of it. We can come back. There'll be plenty of time for work. Just a few stops around town if you'd be interested in looking around at all. No obligation, of course.
I didn't need any further convincing. I was going to follow that with a yes. I would love to.
Excellent. And I would like to, a little bit afraid to actually go check out my farm first and the status there. I would like to first go visit Thomas Rickson, the mushroom farmer, and regale him with the mushrooms that I've grown from the seeds he gave me, but plus my ridiculous alive mushroom man.
Bear with. I'm just pairing something. Oh, it stopped the music. Why did I do that? Rude. I'm liking that little peaceful music. Carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Obviously, at this point, Rico hadn't named his character. He knew it was Goldenbrand, but he hadn't given me the Turin bit, so he's Rico Goldenbrand. But yeah, this is just to get an idea of who's where. However, if you remember, the Jerson family left. They migrated out to the northeast and became, as you said, Rexon the mushroom farmer.
No, he's up here.
Oh, he is. Oh, yeah. This
think
dude.
he's a
This
permanent.
dude. Yeah, he was permanent. He had luminous mushroom cap in his cellar. Somebody's been through their notebook. I don't even have notes on that.
Oh, and that one's. This is a spreadsheet I found. I found the old Beldania NPC Sandringham tab,
That would probably help me too.
which also, by the way, indicates that maybe that wedding was the wrong people, but that's okay.
Oh, does it?
It says that Dorcray was fiance of Meralda.
Oh, yes, it's Meralda and Dorcray who were meant to be getting married. Yes.
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 Not Dahlia. Dahlia was like some other bitch. He
I just
changed her
remembered
name.
as the
Already
two
married, I
that we. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't care till I saw the document.
No, it's just oh my god, do I even still have this? Look at that. Oh, when was I so organized? I don't have time.
Wow.
But yes, you can go ahead and visit Rixon. I imagine of all the people in this place to have changed, he is the one who has changed the least.
That was kind of the thought, actually.
Yes, Mr. Thomas Rixon. Just sort of plodding along.
Hello there, Rixon.
Oh, hey. How might I help you? It's been a while, Henrik. How's your travels been?
Well, very interesting, and I just wanted to thank you for the setup you gave me to grow some mushrooms along the road. That's been very interesting. They've done better, on cart and stuff than so many other things might.
Is your giant mushroom friend in view?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess he would be kind of sitting on the cart.
He sort of looks at the mushroom. He's like, "Well, I'll say."
Well, that's a bit of a different thing that I wanted to show you. Just I don't have too many ordinary samples of some of the extreme mushrooms and things we found over in Gazellen, right?
I've always wanted to visit. It's just such a long journey.
It's amazing. We actually spent a bit of time in Veralia too, and the plant life there is pretty impressive, but it's in a way a bit more predictable. That stuff in Gazellen is mushrooms and crystals, and you don't know what you're going to see. It's a wild place. But I happened upon a magic item along the way, which was able to bring life to one of their larger mushrooms over there in Gazellen, and I'd like you to meet him. Thought you might be interested.
Aye, that would be quite something.
Now, me being me, I've only taught him halfling, unfortunately, but he does speak, and we can translate back and forth to you if you like.
It's wonderful. So if we remember, Rixon spoke to his plants anyway, right? Spoke to his mushrooms anyway.
Right.
He believed they all talked back anyway. So he's going to be gobsmacked
Sure.
when this one talks back out loud. But yeah, he'll come wandering over and engage your mushroom running conversation. There's a lot of sort of bowing and nodding and gawping, right? Going on from him. I don't know how deeply we want to delve into his interaction.
No, we don't have to. That's
If there's anything
totally
you
fine.
had in mind.
You know what? Honestly, too, because we're in the middle of days where we know we can spare a little magic. And I was just checking that tongues is not self; it is touch. And so I will cast tongues on the mushroom so that he can actually speak in whatever language.
Oh shit, Jesus, that's way cooler. I thought you were going to cast tongues on Rixon, but casting tongues on the mushroom is just badass. Like, hey, look at this mushroom friend I created. He speaks every language.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to be gobsmacked, right? He will show you something he's been working on, though you will note it's not going very well. He has been trying to grow some unusual mushrooms of his own, but they just won't behave, sadly. These mushrooms are meant to be, they are meant to create myconid spores. So he's trying to sort of grow these myconids, which start off as mushrooms and they grow to be their own peoples. He's had absolutely no success whatsoever. They're just little broken bits of mushroom on the side. Sad, lonely, and lying dead around. But he shows you various bits of his experiment as he was coming along. I think you probably know, Henrik, that although you may not know that much about mushrooms, they're probably meant to grow naturally as opposed to being coerced into growing.
Yeah, I think you've got to let them come to it in their own time. You got to make sure you got the right seed stock and all that sort of thing. I'm glad to see you keeping at it.
They'll come or they won't.
How's how else have things been around town? I know that you sort of.
No, I don't
fixture.
get out much. Elizabeth, I think it's Elizabeth. It might be Elizabeth. It's probably Elizabeth. Elizabeth does know. She's always telling me of this person and that person that comes and goes, and those that have moved out and those that have moved in, and all the different things that are happening around town. But I'm quite content, in my cellar. The world doesn't change too much down here, I like that.
Yeah, well, it's
Found
good to
change.
know. There are plenty of changes going on out in the wider world that would invade even a cellar, and so it's nice to see you've still got this going here.
So I hear. That beady planting stuff hasn't affected me at all. All my stuff in good old wooden barrels. It's been lovely.
Well, that's interesting, actually. I mean, makes kind of sense, separated from the land itself. That's
Yes,
very
that
good to
is-
know, actually.
That is definitely something that you'll also hear from him that Elizabeth's pot plants also don't grow too fast.
Right.
But
Noted.
Flower beds outside have gone raucous. In fact, they've even had an ivy problem in the ceiling. They're not very happy about that. Yeah, while
Yes,
Henrik
I know.
sorry, I'm just going to
No,
sit around
just
a little bit.
general.
While
please.
Henrik is interacting with Mr. Rickson, Rosanna, obviously you're coming with. Are you just a quiet observer? What's Rosanna's sort of take on this strange farming life?
I think that yes, she's just laying back. I think there isn't much to do right now, and she's feeling very much like an outsider a little bit. As she's the only elf here, they've been traveling with Gia for a bit, so yeah. You just hear her taking a little notes in a notebook every time something related to what's going on is mentioned.
But the gossip of the village doesn't interest her at all.
She raises an eyebrow a little bit every now and again, but that's about it.
As you wander around after Henrik, the village. Kiabo, what's the happenings?
Well, I had a few experiments I wanted to make with potions and magic themselves, but I mean, obviously, first of all, I would have been, pottering around, sort of transferring books from place to place.
I would say
sort of
transferring
carving
books
my-
is probably quite quick and efficient when you have access to as much magic as you do.
Yeah, I was also thinking of spending a short amount of time at the Golden Grand Estate, just creating a nice little library section.
Yep, you're
Making sure we can arrange for all the right furniture for all these books of all sorts for everyone, not just me. Make sure their library is grand and beautiful.
Yep, it
few
puts
hours.
the burnt out floor of the kitchen to shame. As you just take over a bedroom with a library. But post librarying, and it's fair to say probably setting up your alchemy equipment there as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, I'm sure there is a
But
room with a
before
good
I
window.
do start with the alchemy,
Mhm.
before I do, I would like to do my mage armor casting just to continue with that.
Yep, you may give me. Sorry, I'm going to need to change the notebook, and I've just pulled Pepsi on the table. Bear with me a second.
Oops, sorry.
That's all right. I don't know how I just missed the glass.
The mage armor.
Okay. Oh, you're at a day. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
It's an 18.
Okay. Yeah, you are going to be able to cast this twice a week. 3.5 days, if you like.
Very nice.
You can continue on that line.
That's
for a
awesome.
while.
So there is a bit of magic experimentation I would like to do, trying to combine a spell as well.
Yep. And those are.
I would like to try to combine the magics within mage armor
Mhm.
and which spell? Stone shape. That's the one. Mage armor and stone shape. Basically, I'm looking to create a spell that sort of shrouds my character within stone itself. And you probably know where I'm getting at with this one.
You want to accidentally end up using stone skin?
No, I was more so thinking the investitures.
Oh, okay. I don't see stone shape on your spell list. Sorry, give me a second. I'm assuming you
It's
just
in
don't
4th
have
level
it prepped.
spells, transmutation.
Yeah, I'm assuming you just don't have it prepped.
No, it's not prep, that's fire.
Go ahead and give me your intelligence check. It's
Intelligence
an
check,
intelligence
indeed.
It shouldn't have been an arcana check.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that was a 15 on the intelligence check.
Luckily for you, 50. That's, I don't know why that's
Oh,
lucky
no.
for you.
Oh, I guess I should have used the thing for the academic problem and made that an advantage, because it is a check, isn't it?
Don't think it would work in this situation. When a wizard attempts to combine two spells, they make a check using their spellcasting ability, equal to 11 plus the combined levels of the spells. That was 12 plus 4 is 16. You're looking for.
Wait, was it spellcasting modifier, or...?
Their spellcasting ability equal. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I mean that
Well,
is your
yeah.
modifier, right?
Unfortunate, yeah. One off.
It does not result in a critical failure, so you may continue to. Oh, I see. It's gosh, your DC was way lower than I thought it was. Sorry, because you are a wizard. But you succeeded.
I got 27 anyway, so
Yeah, but well, you shouldn't have done because you shouldn't have rolled Arcana. But yes, sorry, I'm just remembering my
I
own
see.
rules from back in the day. So it doesn't work day one, Kiava, but you do think that maybe trying to sort of envelop yourself in stone might not be the right way around it. And you end up accessing something a bit different, a bit weird, a bit unexpected. Bear with me a second. Oh, maybe not. Maybe you don't. I think it's a dream, though. Yeah, you get the impression that there is something you could do if you were to work harder on this that might allow you to shape stones actively in the world, perhaps even being able to create a platform or a staircase for yourself. But it's not something you're able to work out. Maybe you should ask Rosanna at some point. I think she can already cast it.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it escapes you for now, Kelbo. Also,
Okay.
you were doing so well at making the house look nice, and then you started shaping rocks, and I don't know what kind of mess you've made upstairs.
Oh no, honestly,
I'm
I
sure
wouldn't
you're
have been
outside.
doing that
I'm sure
upstairs.
you're
I would have been
outside.
just
Of course.
outside out the back, yes.
Of course.
Definitely wouldn't have been doing that indoors. Not when you're doing something like that, no. Don't want to destabilize the house or anything.
Yeah, so each of you goes out on your daily adventures, and we'll say that it's sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when you convene for lunch before heading back out. Is there anything you would like to do as a group? Is there anything you would like to discuss as a group?
So Torin will have thought it very important to explain to everyone. He would have likely rode into town with some haste, and upon everyone gathering at the table, I assume, he'd sort of say something like, "I was out for a jaunt by Elador. I don't know how to explain it. The vegetation seems to stop growing so fast. At a certain point, it's got a hard line across the land. What do you make of this?"
Well, most of these effects we've seen have been localized in one way or another. That damn mountain of sand, that was a square in the sky. Various other things. I guess it could mean there's a local source of the situation.
And perhaps it's a good idea to discover the boundaries of this effect, perhaps we can pinpoint the origin.
Suppose that could work.
That would be an interesting shout.
Another thing. Seems the skies are eerily quiet.
Would you prefer them noisy?
Generally, no, Sebastian, but I am accustomed to the sounds of birds calling in the springtime, and I may have seen one or two in the entire time that I was out. I think it might serve us well to set out and inspect the borders. To Safeton, to Yuccan, even to the south. Has this effect eclipsed all of Jawston or just a portion of it?
Well, I mean, I suppose it stands to reason that it's in one way or another mixed up with all the larger things that we've been looking into, and at a certain point, as much as I care about our home, fighting every symptom rather than trying to just carry on and seek out the ultimate sort of root of things. I don't know how much good it will do if we stop the plants from going slightly too fast around here and half the world is being completely destroyed. So I don't know. We could look around, see if we find anything obvious, but I'm not sure this is the thing we need to absolutely run to the ground right now.
Fair enough, Enoch.
But I'm open to everyone else's concerns on the matter.
Before we do let go of this point, there is a question that won't leave. When the world was spinning, I spoke with the critters and the animals, and they responded well, in a positive manner. But if what you're saying is correct, Turin, now they're gone?
No, I saw many ground-based wildlife. I stalked a stag myself. Just the airborne ones, seemingly.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
She'll just lean back on her chair and continue thinking.
You can give me a nature wisdom check, Rosalia.
May I guidance myself?
No, 'cause the DC is pretty low. This is something I think your character would know. Not something you have to check. Yeah, that is way higher than needed. Birds are migratory, most birds, right? The turning of the world more quickly might confuse them as to the season, and cause animals to migrate in different directions. But also just the disparity between the mountains where Torin was and the overgrown land to the south might cause the animals to think that it's not necessarily that it's winter, right? But if you look over there and it's like, hey, it's way more green over there than it is over here, you think that you're in the wrong place, right? So they may well have just migrated towards more lush areas, you think, because you've seen plenty of birds around Sandon. It is only when Torin entered the foothills of the mountains birds were missing.
So it wasn't to do with magic.
The birds or the growth?
The bird.
Yes. You would think that given the scenario, it's probably quite natural behavior for the bird. Especially as they see more than, the local land creatures. I mean, how far does a boar walk, right? In comparison to a bird fly. Good for thought.
Well, Henrik, with respect to the greater task at hand, how should we handle this?
I don't really know. I mean, I think perhaps other tasks we're already looking into, if we pay mind to when we cross out of these effects and sort of piece things together from there. Perhaps when we hit those edges, we can go a bit in either direction, but not necessarily the entire, or the fancy math people call it, a perimeter of the whole zone. If we're going to head perhaps to some of these places to the south, perhaps to Lorvalin again, and so forth, we might contact the edges of this on our natural journey. But that brings to mind that if we're going to head in a particularly Lorvalin direction, at least eventually, then we may need to gather some information before we do.
Agreed. It's been quite some time, and we still aren't sure of what's happened in Lorvalin.
I can send a few magical little messages out and see what kind of responses I get, trustworthy or not, depending on who I ask, I suppose. I was thinking perhaps first, I mean, I know that that item we found before, Chiavo, can probably just take a straight look. But I was kind of curious from the get-go whether simply contacting Lagon directly and find out if I could even get a hold of him might be one way to go about it. I don't know if you think that's the right first step or the scrying instead. Mostly directed at the white rectangle that is Jamal.
The white rectangle that is. Well, I could take a look.
I'm also, because you've got the item in your thing, and I don't remember, how much scrying you can do. Is it once a day? Is that all you get?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure
You
exactly.
just know the spell now.
Let me check what it is. Oh yeah, I can actually. It doesn't say that it has a limited number of uses a day. Apparently, I should be able to just scry with it at will. Provided.
Oh, unmuted, sorry. Yes, both the scrying and the suggestion are at will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but the suggestion can't be used more than once a day. I think the scrying can be used more often, but I need to spend the spell slots for it, I believe.
No. And you can cast.
Oh no, he's right, James. It says, at the end of it, it says once you use the suggestion power.
No, that's absolutely fine. But the scrying you can use
yeah,
at will without any spell slots at all.
Oh,
Yeah, you can just scry.
I can just reuse it
It's a
over
crystal
and
ball.
over. Wow.
Yeah, you can just scry. The suggestion property can only be used once a day. I don't know why it says at will in the.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. It says at will at the top.
I'm gonna say, Jamal, that I'm quite happy if you do suggestion. You can use the suggestion spell at will anytime when you're scrying.
Okay.
I don't see why they would. Why you would.
I
do
think
that.
probably
It doesn't
because they
make
couldn't
sense.
put an at will spell and like a charge spell on the same item.
Sure, but for me, I think it's official content. They should be able to do what the hell they want. But yeah, I'm quite happy for you to be able to suggest at scry. I mean, it's not that useful. If you start trying to abuse it, I might limit it. But in general, I'm quite happy for both to be at will. Who are you scrying on?
Yeah. So who do we feel is best for me to start with for this?
Well, Henrik
Or
suggested
who or
at
where?
least trying to first contact Lagon to see if we could even
All right.
if
Okay.
he exists on this plane
Yeah, right.
currently.
Bear with me a second, please. I need to get a name. A horrible feeling.
I mean, look, obviously out of character, I expect him to be difficult to spot or contact, but you never know.
Yeah. So are you talking Lord Lagon specifically, or any of the other Lagons?
No, just the Lord. I mean, we can watch at some point. We can watch the
kids?
children to like see what.
I have
what's
their
shading
names
is
now,
up
by
to,
the
but-
way. Which is what I was. Well, it's the one note I didn't make. It is Matthias and Evandria and Lagon, and they are siblings. They are twins. Yeah. Those of you who played Academy of Sharp, please don't spoil it, because you will know more than others. Jamal would have
I
forgotten
see.
by now, but Josh won't. Yeah, you can go for Lord Lagon.
Yeah, sure. I will attempt to scry. Is there any
what-
kind of
what knowledge is required about the target?
I'll need to check the scrying spell. I think it only says it's a particular creature you choose that's on the same plane of existence as you.
No, if you scroll down, it shows you like the. So, for example, if you have first-hand knowledge.
Oh,
then
yes.
it's
So
zero.
they make a wisdom save, I think, for actual knowledge or connection.
Yeah, so in general,
modifiers.
it says a target can. It is if a target knows you're casting this spell.
Yeah.
In the situations that they are not a wizard, you may just scry somebody, but I am going to add the caveat, much like sending, but you must at least be somewhat familiar with this person. So that doesn't mean you have to know their name, age, date of birth, and place and social security number. But it does mean that you need to at least know either their name or be able to picture their face or whatever. So you couldn't, for example, scry the King of the Orcs, even if you know his name. You personally have
Never met
no
him,
knowledge
never
of him
seen him.
whatsoever. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
So if we had like a document where we had the name, the picture, all the information that we could about this person,
you
would
might
that then
be,
work?
you might be able to do it, but I would make you make a check. Whereas somebody
That's-
who you know is familiar as Lagon, provided he's in a place where he can be scried, he's not on the
Yeah.
sea plane dead at, you should be fine.
Right. Yeah. Then in that case, it should just be free scrying on.
So as the
Lord
group of
Lagon.
you sit around this table, is that yeah? I mean, you can sit
Yes,
around a
yeah.
rectangular table, I guess. So you sit
It
around
could
the
be a
table.
round table.
It could be a round table, yeah. And you all sort of focus in. You will see the Lord Lego. He is wearing rags, is the best way of putting it. His clothing looks incredibly frayed and tattered, and he's probably not listening to this chirping. He is wearing near rags. He looks like his clothing was once fine, but is now in tatters. Not far from him, you see an elf that you do not recognize. As you look at them
Elf?
both, they appear to be in the mountain. They seem quite high up in the mountains. It is currently snowing where they are. You hear the Lord Lagon curse a little bit in frustration. And he's complaining about the toughness of the meat that was hunted today.
What is the elf wearing?
Standard sort of leathers, if you like. Dressed almost exactly like any other elven scout you've seen.
So yeah, so not really any sort of like.
I would say you can make the assumption that it is a scout, one of the mountain scouts, like the one that guided you through the mountains.
Okay.
Have their name. Second to put it out of my arse. Fendus.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Fendus, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
very much like those mountain scouts, but this is not Fendus. It is a different elf one you have not.
But like
Right.
obviously not an elf from like Varelia that
No,
you met. Like,
he has a bow
Yeah.
slung over his shoulders. His leathers are much more intact, but they are deep in the mountains, quite high up.
where could they be?
See.
Eludar.
Well, that's where he was on his way to, if you remember.
Does he?
So,
seem
in terms of,
captive?
are we able to go to the main map so I can get a
Oh,
better?
sorry,
sort of
I'm
read
looking
on-
at the main map, but you're not.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say, does he speak Halfling?
No, does
No,
he
I-
seem captive?
No.
Did you say?
No,
Right. I thought
definitely
you
not.
thought.
Him and the elf seem like they treat each other as somewhat equals. They both sit next to the fire to eat the meal. They huddle together. There are no other people inside, and you can see quite expansive area around them. There are no other people in sight. There is this sort of slightly roughshod tent that they've put into a shelter. I will say to Torrin's trained eye, it looks like the tent has been there for a few days. Ah, hold the phone. Go back to that scrying spell.
Hmm.
I am going to rule, even though I'm not sure how it's meant to work, that you can all see the image in the crystal ball.
You were describing it that way, so I just assumed you
Yes.
were playing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I just suddenly realized maybe Kiavo's the only one who can see this. But I will allow all of you to use your observational abilities and knowledge to work this out. And on that note, Rosania, you would be able to identify immediately that this is an elf who has been away from Veralia for a long time. They don't look like a typical Veralian elf. They look like a well-traveled, seasoned traveling elf.
Could I maybe use my knowledge from my previous travels to also identify the area?
I mean, you'd all know that it is in this this sort of zone, right? But one mountain looks much like the other when you're just sat on the side of it. There are no landmarks in view whatsoever, so you know it's not too close to Eladar, nor to Barat Numenez. You can see neither the green grass of Jorston, the lands of Lana, or the lands of Moigos from here. So it's just mountains. But you can identify them as the Dwarven Mountains, as opposed to Kolabar or Veralian Mountains, which are very different.
So, am I able to like shift like the image, so like the angle we're looking at, and pan it around to?
Yeah, I mean,
sort
as I
of
said,
get
you can see quite a wide expanse, but the problem is it's just a mountain, right? You can see other
So
mountains from this mountain. You cannot see anything but mountains from this mountain.
So the horizon is all just mountains, so they are
Mhm.
deep within the mountains.
Yeah, so you could probably narrow it down, I would say, to like
That
this
square, yeah.
square or this square.
Right, so it's like these very
I
it's
do.
these sort of slim bands where it can be deep within those
Yes,
mountains.
it's that central line of the mountains.
Right.
And one thing's for certain, he's been out here a while. Like,
Yeah, no
while.
doubt to get there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. He was at Eladar, right? Or at least he left for Eladar. So it's not. He could easily be like 10 miles over the road, but the other side of the mountain.
But he and his scout companion, they're not wounded or anything. They're sort of rough looking from being out in the mountains, but not like actually wounded or anything, right? Just your typical wear of travel. Or am
Rosania
I-
can give me a medicine check, and Torin, sorry, I was waiting for him to put his headset back on. And Torin can give me a. Oh, I lost my sense of what I was saying now. Torin, you can give me a survival check.
Did you ask me for a medicine check?
17 from Torin.
24.
Yeah, although he doesn't look wounded in any way, he does look like he may have suffered from strain that's beyond his body's capacity, if you like. He looks thin, worn, perhaps he was ill recently. He certainly doesn't look healthy. Torin, with your survival checks, 17, did you say?
17, yeah.
Yeah, looking at this area, it isn't an area that you would want to try and live for more than 2 or 3 days, right? The snows are heavy up here. They're quite high up the mountain. Anyone living up at that height for an extended period of time is going to struggle, even with just the thinness of the air. Yeah, so whilst not injured, they are not healthy. You would assume that they're stuck in some way, right? If somebody was there and could leave, they would, is my point.
Chiavo, I can send him a message, but that's rather limited. It didn't look like anybody untoward is listening. Maybe you can just influence him to describe aloud what's happened to him over the past several weeks since he left Lorvalen. Might not work, but
You mean suggest that he tell us what has happened?
well, you probably don't know
Specifically?
what's going on, but just suggest you describe. I don't know. That's yeah.
Yeah,
No,
sorry, I was just
I'm
thinking
not
that for my
thinking
own
of-
benefit. You can try something like that, Kelvin. What sort of things you want to say?
I need to take a second to think about exactly how I would like to say this, because if I get this wrong,
Well, the item says that you can just communicate with them. You don't necessarily have to cast suggestion.
I can communicate with it.
Yeah.
First of all.
Oh,
Oh yes, in that case. I would like to call that through the crystal ball. I'll actually. Is it possible for me to also allow Hennick and others to communicate as well, so it
They'll
isn't
be able to
just me?
hear. Both directions, right? So you've
Right.
got a loudspeaker telephone in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Conference call.
Yeah. In that case, if we were willing to do this, I can open up this side of things and we can try to communicate and see what's going on. Are we comfortable with this?
Do
Yeah,
it.
From what we can see, don't seem why not.
Yes. In that case, I'll open up the communication capacity within the ball and call out, not hugely loudly, but you know, not an attempt, not trying to startle him or anything, but call out Lord Lagon.
Yeah, I mean, he does startle, and the first thing he does is sort of look around for somebody who's near him, if you like. This hasn't worked. Yeah, for somebody who's near him, for something, he expects you to be in the vicinity.
Yes.
And he doesn't recognize your voice straight away either.
I do apologize, Lord Lagon. You're looking for us. We are not anywhere near. We're looking from afar.
Is that Chiavo?
That is correct. It is I.
Yes, all of us are here. Friends from Sandringham.
Well, it's a relief to hear a friendly voice out here.
And a new friend.
Lord Dagon, what on this continent has happened? You've ended up out here. You look rough. Are you okay?
We were attacked on the road to Eladar. I made my escape, but well, I ended up out here. Granted, we've been here so long.
How long?
Let's say a month, perhaps.
Do you have any idea how close you are to Eldar?
No, we were on the road, but we fled for a long time. We were chased for 5 or 6 days. My men, they turned back to help me get away. Say none of them survived. I wandered alone for 3 or 4 days before I stumbled upon one of the scouting posts. My companion here, I don't know if you can see us.
We can.
You can, yes.
Reaver. He led us away
One
from
of
the
the scouts
scouting
from the
post.
scouting post.
He led us away from the scouting post so that it would not be on the trodden paths. Somebody wants me dead.
Who, Dagon? Who chased you?
I don't know, they were mercenaries. Army men. Humans.
Interesting.
There weren't many who knew of my travels. Grandfather. Yourselves. My children. Court mage felon. Yes, definitely.
Court mage felon.
What of him?
It's just...
An untrustworthy man.
You think? He was with me a long time.
We have... I'm not going to say learned some interesting things, but I don't necessarily trust him implicitly, if I may be so clear to say.
He contacted me from afar only to bear me bad news.
Well, to be fair, we wanted to see that you were okay, among others, after the journey we took.
I don't suppose a rescue is in order.
I think it would be in everyone's interests for us to attempt,
Fortunately,
or
even
to
my
at
friend
least
here is
find
now
people who can.
lost. All I can tell you is that we are in the mountains somewhere west of Eladar.
How are your supplies?
We hunt from day to day, and I fear I am much a burden.
Does your companion here remember which scouting post it was that they last left from?
Post 4.
Then I believe we have a journey to make.
Well, perhaps you may come yourselves if you wish, but even just alerting the scouting group, somebody who could conduct the search, but also mark their path to come back.
What if you notified the Dwarven King?
Oh, I fear that That is one more person that did know we were coming. And they called us there themselves. Whilst I am inclined to trust Ivan, that is his name, right? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps not. Perhaps someone we know more closely. Perhaps Kevrin could conduct the search. He is familiar with these mountains like almost no other.
Forgive me, but Lord Lagon, this is a Hennick Littlefield.
I recognize your voice.
But it is good to see and hear from you, unfortunate circumstances though they may be. I do worry. Well, it seems to me the only reason we can't tell you exactly where you are, looking at you now magically, is because of where you are. And I fear that, well, I think we've undersold a little bit our suspicions of the court mage. And I have fear that were you to be any place more identifiable, he would know where you were. I mean, I would like to think you could lay low in Sandringham if needed, or anything like that, but do worry that he would be able to locate you if you were somewhere more easily found.
So we need to trust somebody who can shelter us. Perhaps
Some
Ivan is the key
provision.
then. Yeah.
Perhaps. We can look in on him, speak to him at some point here, and see if our expectations line up with what he's actually up to.
That will be appreciated. Much appreciated.
Hold tight, Lagon.
Thank you. Thank you for getting in touch. I feared I would spend the rest of my days here.
Well, maybe a few more, but we'll try to sort something out.
Reaver is a good man. Be comfortable enough. Yes.
Well, we'll arrange a rescue yet.
Is Torin with you?
Hi, I'm here.
There are some men I would trust with my life no matter what. And they are good at looking after me. Perhaps you might speak to the Silver Sword.
I could. I haven't spoke to my uncle in quite some time. I'm not exactly even sure where he is.
Well, if there's still a presence of the Silver Sword in Harbondon or Lorvalen, and or Kevran, perhaps if they could get to us and lead us to Eladar. Are men I would trust with my life. So if you remember, just to remind you guys, because it's been so long since we went there, the Silver Sword had a black dragonborn sent down from the north who was a bastard, yes? Okay, good. Just in case you guys have forgotten, that is part of...
Right.
We'll see what we can do.
This ability you have to contact me from afar, it's something you can repeat.
Yes, it is most definitely something we can repeat.
I would appreciate an update every now and again, or at least a friendly voice here and there. You have no idea how much hope this has given me.
Then we shall update you
Much
whenever
appreciated.
we have something to give, some news to give to you. And if we
Thank
don't, then I'll at least check in.
Mhm.
It may take us a little while to get it set up to be able to contact you, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you. With that, to
Lagon,
pass it off- Oh, sorry.
Well,
go
hold
carry
on. Lagon, a final question.
Yes?
Did you perhaps experience an extremely strange occurrence? Not
You
only-
mean the
not-
night and
not-
day?
Yes.
Most definitely. I had wondered if that is what enabled you to do whatever it is you're doing to get in contact.
I fear the nature of this is still unknown to us.
Let's see.
Nevertheless, be safe.
You too. And with that, we can cover...
Close call. Yes.
What was that?
I just did like
hang
that.
up.
I'm gonna hang
Yes,
up the
we'll
phone
close
now.
call. Yes.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, I was busy trying to look for something else for you, but yes, with that news, I'll let you discuss it with yourselves for a minute. The music won't play for a second. Sorry.
Fine. Well, I suppose we can just apparently talk to him as much as we please, but boy, I don't know what the safest thing to do is for him. I guess there are places around here that would be fairly unidentifiable, but I do have that concern that Felon would be able to locate him. I'm not sure that Felon is the felon we're looking for, but he seems like a bit of a criminal these days.
Certainly, indeed. He's one of the shadiest sorts going. I could, although this may be a terrible idea, I could attempt to glean more information about him, but I think he would know very quickly if we tried.
Well, nor could we trust anything that we would see or hear.
That's also true.
I mean, I imagine we might catch him at the exact moment where he's about to reveal all of his plans aloud, but
Why would I do that?
That's also true. Though,
sitting on the
what's
toilet,
happened to the
maybe
Lord-
I shouldn't have tried to kill the Lord.
Considering what's happened to Lord Lagon himself, should we at least check on the siblings?
I'm sure we can see how nefarious they've been.
Sorry, you wanted to check on?
I was asking if we should at least check the Lagon kids.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those. Are you familiar with them in any way whatsoever?
Have we met them before?
Nope.
Then we can't. No, damn.
Well,
You might be familiar with others at court.
isn't scrying a location as well as the option?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can scry the court.
Right.
Just hope that you
Yeah.
land on them. I knew that no matter how many NPCs I wrote down, you would find somebody I didn't. It's just the way of the world, isn't it? But yeah, you can scry on the palace at Lord Valon. if you want.
Yeah, okay. I guess we can do. I guess
Just
we can
remind
try
you,
for a
it's
brief story.
a 2-day walk. But yeah, you into the palace of Lord Valon. Let's see. You see the Lagon twins. You see Court
Nice.
Mage Felon. You see the what was his name? Get it?
Punk.
No,
Not Punk. Surely not.
no,
Not
not Pong.
Is it that bastard slaver prince?
No,
of a
good man,
place?
good man. He looked after
Good
you
man.
a lot. He was like the steward that was left in place when you went out, when you were there.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Justin, the court steward and chancellor, who was left in charge in the absence of the Duke until these children arrived. It should be mentioned that there is a dual throne now in the Lord Valon Palace. The Duke didn't stand on much ceremony, right? So there wasn't even much of a ostentatious chair at all. But now you see this dual ornate throne, black and gold, intricately designed. The two of them sit there holding court. I can produce images, but not immediately, so I will produce those later. But you see that they do hold hands as they are addressing somebody in the court. They are both dressed head to toe in nefarious-looking black outfits. They look pretty evil, on your judgment. They look like nasty pieces of work, and she is smiling as somebody in the center of the room on their knees is being berated quite badly. He is in chains. You don't recognize him. Well, you're all looking, I suppose. Orin, Hennick, Sebastian, and Chiavo. You may give me perception checks. You cannot get the advantage from the shield on this. But Sebastian, you may roll with advantage.
So this is sight, yes, for perception.
It is sight, and it is a very high DC. It is not a nat 1. That is
But
for
I
sure.
do have Danov's visor.
Sorry,
so I should
Rosania,
get
there is no
advantage.
point you making the check because you have no idea what they're looking for. But I will take one from everybody else.
Ah,
Chiavo, that was a fail.
fine, 14.
I got 18.
Hennick?
Let's go, Hennick.
14.
Yeah, that's what you notice, guys. Didn't spot something a little amiss. But you will see the court mage felon very much definitely part of proceedings, which is bizarre, right? Because grandfather and the Mages Guild went there to sort him out.
Mm-hmm. Time to change the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why next? Who next?
Where next? Who next?
Perhaps we should check in with Gandaris.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's a sideline.
Could be in trouble, or he could never have gotten there.
You know he got there. You 100% know he got there. I believe you sent him a sending at some point, and confirmed that he got there, and he also confirmed that the Duke was missing. Yes.
That could be
The
right.
Dwarf King.
Oh yeah, we have to talk
Ivan?
to Ivan
Yeah,
at some point too.
Yeah, Ivan. We should check on Ivan first.
You did speak to Ivan as well, and he was the one who told you the Duke hadn't arrived yet. So is that where we're going? We're going Duke King, or are we going Grandfather first?
Any order we should go, but all three are definitely on the docket. Let's go with the
King. Let's go to Ivan.
King.
Okay. King Ivan. Lovely. We like King Ivan. Yeah, he's currently hosting a feast in his hall. You will see that there are many people here. Many of them are Yuanti. Many of them are dwarves. There are plenty of humans here, a few elves. The hall is absolutely packed. They're weirdly not listening to that mystery music. I don't know why that came up. Yeah, they're feasting. They seem to be celebrating something, which I'm not sure what.
Well, no doubt we have figured that he's at least been successful in his diplomacy efforts, by the looks of it.
Shall we speak to him?
He's just crashed. Yeah, you can speak to him if you wish. He does seem very busy. There are 2 dwarven women on his arm.
I think now is not the time to talk to him. I think we should catch him at a more opportune time when he's less indulged, so to speak.
Oh, I don't know that Lagon would really care how indulged he is at the moment.
It's true. It's true. I mean, if it's no, okay, then we should do it now, then, shouldn't we?
Perhaps we can influence him to seek privacy.
Then, yes, that. If you really want him to get some privacy, we can suggest he goes and seeks somewhere more private for a chat.
I wonder if that's exactly what he meant.
Yes, we do exactly that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So as you just found the music of the partying, and then you send him somewhere else.
Just you seek some
He
privacy.
goes elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, he would pass the DC massively, but it is fair to say that upon sort of hearing this and acknowledging this, he will willingly fail the save at least to be contacted. And you see him look around a little bit, and then he summons a dwarven cleric over, and then he's like, and she sort of widely stares at the ceiling and raises her hand in a grand dwarven gesture. And it's just sort of like, Seeker, who are you? Speak your name. She calls out in Dwarvish first, but she'll repeat it in Common. You seem to have been detected, Kiana.
Then we'll respond through the speaker. It is Kiavo, alongside my companions.
The dwarf king sort of gets this relayed to him, and then he's just like, "Ha! Fine time for a chat. What can I do for you?"
I believe the person best to explain and inform you of what's happened would be Hennick and Torin themselves.
Oh, it's a party call, is it? Hello there!
Yes.
Greetings, Ivan. You seem to be enjoying yourself.
We are celebrating.
Oh,
Well,
May I ask
we
what?
had, I don't know, 18 days in one. So we thought we'd feast for 7 days when it ended. Why not? We don't know if the world's ending. We thought we'd enjoy ourselves. Besides,
It's a very
it seems
dwarvish-
safer down here than up there.
Very dwarvish reaction.
It's a fantastic way to be.
I
It's not just
expect no
dwarves
less.
down here anymore. We seem to have refugees from every country in the world.
Yeah, so we can see.
The halls of Eldar have never been so full. At least not full of those who are non-dwarven. But hey, no one say that we are not a welcoming folk.
Well,
Well,
we
we
had...
might have. Sorry.
Oh,
No, go
sure.
ahead.
We might have one more. Well, two perhaps, but one more for you to welcome. One who was meant to make it to you. We've looked in on Lord Lagon. He was attacked
He lives?
on the way to see you. He is alive.
He's
but
very
he is lost
late.
in the mountain. Yes, we know. He was attacked on the way to meet you by mercenaries, and got lost in the mountains. He does have a ranger with him, an elven ranger with him, but they've managed to eke out survival. But he's in a bad way, and no one's
think
quite
they're
sure
lost?
exactly where he is. They seem to be quite lost, and lost to us as well. We can give generalities, but
I've got some friends who
wonder-
love climbing the mountains. I can send them out to look for them.
well, that would be delightful, and hopefully, perhaps protect him back in your.
He may be
stronghold
attacked
afterwards.
again in his own land.
Yes, Yeah, it seems so. He definitely is in need of a rescue right now.
He plays a great game of dragon chess. I shall be glad to welcome him to my halls. We can find him.
Well, he was last near Scout Post 4, I believe.
I'll relay that to the men. I have no idea where that is.
They will.
He is, however, very deep within the mountains themselves.
And by deep, you
Everything
mean
around is
central.
yes,
north.
yes,
okay.
everything
It's up in
around
the
is.
He's on the surface. Yes.
Yes, indeed. He's on firm ground, that's for sure. But
Well, he
he's
wouldn't be lost
deep.
with a scout unless he was truly deep in the mountains. Some of my men might know the local terrain more. If he's near Aladar, we'll find him. If he's not, I'd suggest you send some of the elves. They're good at that seeking thing. Determined fellows.
I'll look over at Rosania.
He's complimenting your people, but... not chance.
Thank
So-
you, strangers.
Was that the reason for your call?
Yes.
Well, whoever finds him, to make sure that perhaps your Eladar would be a place to keep him safe, basically.
I see. Yes. Aladar's the place to keep everyone safe at the moment. I know what happens
And
when
we
the
do
roof
appreciate
crumbles.
that.
Aye. I've been enjoying it. And if we are running a little low on food, clerics work night and day at the moment. Oh,
See.
Well, that's wonderful.
thank you.
Is there anything else that we can ask him?
I don't know, is there? Sorry, couldn't resist.
I believe that's all. Anything else? Anyone else here?
Well, I mean, you caught up with him relatively recently in comparison to everybody else, right? And
Yeah,
I
indeed.
can assure you he has nothing else of interest to say.
That's totally fair.
For expediency's purpose. Anyone else you wanted
Thank
to
you for
phone?
your time.
No problem.
And if that will close, cool.
Okay. Where next are we flitting off to?
Where next, indeed? Grandfather, then I guess was on the docket
Sounds
next.
about right.
Okay. The grandfather. Yeah. You recognize this place pretty quickly. He's pretty much where you met him the first time. He has gone back to Safeton. He has no interest in leaving ever again. Given the mess that has come of everything. But yes, you find him in Safeton. He is sitting at a desk with piles of paperwork in front of him. He is alone.
Well, he is safe and well. That's good to see.
Do you want to speak to him, Henrik?
I suppose we'll be able to find out what he learned and why he's gone home. I mean, I can understand why anyone would have gone home, but more specifically. Grandfather.
He sort of almost spills his drink and looks up at the ceiling and then... Wizards. I help you?
Not. Yes, it's Henrik Littlefield. We met some time back.
I didn't strike you for one to interrupt a man's thoughts.
My apologies. You advised me to keep busy, and I've been doing a little too much of that, I think, and stumbled upon a way.
My advice was rubbish. Ignore it all. Go somewhere nice and stay there.
I see that is what you have seemed to have done, but we would be very, very happy to know if you would tell us what you encountered at Lorvalen and why you've gone home.
The Duke was missing. We drove Court Mage Felon from the halls, but he fled before we could get hold of him.
He seemed to have returned.
Yes. About 5 or 6 days later, Lagon's bedeviled twin children turned up. Wrong. They started off with simple things, slight changes of the law, adjustments, frivolous parties, inviting nobles from afar.
We knew the daughter, at least, was quite greedy.
Nasty pieces of work.
Is that purely, in your
Kind of
judgment,
phrase.
purely their... Okay.
They may be the devil themselves, but I don't think they're influenced by anyone else. Nevertheless, they started introducing nasty practices, gladiatorial tournaments to prisoners, etc. They drove many from their lands who didn't belong there. Anyone who spoke out against them has suffered quite the fate. I had to flee! A man of my age deserves a little more respect.
Well, absolutely. I would like to extend you that by letting you get back to your thoughts.
You're going there, make sure that you don't make too much noise, Henrik. They're a strange pair. From what I hear, they've welcomed Felon back into the fold. They have a strange little man who does work for them. Makes people disappear. Beware.
Well, we have not found physically, but we've contacted Lagon himself. He is alive.
Oh, he is?
So if we can
For
sort
goodness
things
sake,
out
he
a
needs
little
to get
bit.
back here and make sure he's not assassinated by his children.
All right, precisely. So I don't think necessarily having him simply return and take back over is going to quite do it.
Well, do whatever you think is right. I am going to administer this tiny little town. Look after their tiny little problems. I don't suppose you know anything about the weird passing of day and night recently, do you? You seem like the
Likely
center
connected
of
to so many
things.
things. Yeah, but we haven't figured out that one in particular. It didn't seem to be anything we could do about it. I'm sure it's connected. There's something about. Well, we think we fear perhaps an even older power may have been released from some sort of containment, but.
Oh, I'm too old for all of this.
Yeah, when you hear some of these things that were around thousands and thousands of years ago, I have to say, even to me, getting that old starts to sound a bit strange.
I wouldn't mind so much if the knees didn't creak. Well, I put in a fabulous order for some good wine and some good brandy. I can smell the stew cooking. I'll return to it if I may. You can consider me retired for the most part. But, if you ever need advice, Henrik, you're a good one.
Well, thank you for that. Try to work it on our own for now. Thank you very much.
Right, Sebastian?
Yeah, I want to wait till the call's ended.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just double checking that it wasn't him you were trying to contact.
No.
Yep. Phone down.
Didn't he just say not to take his advice?
He did. He said it's all rubbish. And I thought it was you who was going to ask for the next person contacted.
No. I just wanted Sebastian to say that.
Okay, fair enough. Is there somebody Sebastian would like to contact?
I don't think so. I think throughout the days that he was experimenting, he would have been in touch with Furlock.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't...
In that case, I will relay said messages from Furlock that I thought you would get through the scrying call.
Sorry.
Take myself off of this page I had ready for you. So we are in the Golden Run estate. Let's do that. Yes, Farlock has told you that he has dispatched a man towards you. Beware, it is a strange man, but he is a good man. What he will tell you. I don't know what form he'll come in. He's a shapeshifter. But he brings you a tome. Been delving in a ancient library. Perhaps you might make use of it. You and that idiot cat friend of yours.
I don't have other cat friends.
Well, you know who I mean. Lion dude.
He's still mastering cantrips. I'll leave him to it.
Very well.
I don't-
Oh, he'd love the cantrip master feat, I'm sure. But, no, he will inform you that a strange man is coming to see you. He doesn't know what form he will take, but he seeks you out. Where will he find you?
At my humble abode.
Oh, splendiferous. He will also tell you that he thinks he has some answers towards the passing of day and night, but he will speak to you about those in person. Expects to return within a week or so.
Okay.
All right. I think my
Cool.
mother is
Then in that
just
case,
witnessed a
this-
drama on the
then,
television.
Then in that case, this whole time that we've been talking to people, Sebastian will be staring out the window.
Cool, love that for you. Except for that one
Waiting
moment where
to
you made a
see
snide
someone.
remark about the grandfather.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just not
Right,
looking. Yeah.
Okay, with that done, Jamal, you said 3, but was the grandfather
Yes.
Ivan and there was a third?
Yeah, there was a third.
I don't
who
know.
was
You
it?
were the only person who seemed to think there was a third. So I hope you can identify who they are.
Maybe we can. I mean, Torn would like to get into contact with Yokrath.
Okay. I can tell you for free, you will be unable to scry Yorkrath where he is. You would assume that is because he is in the Silver Sword resident building, and if you remember, the Black Dragonborn's quite a powerful mage. I'm afraid that the place is warded. I think it's fair to say that, Kiavo, you can see the outside of the Silver Sword when you attempt to scry Yorkrath, but you cannot get
Right.
in.
Then it seems the only option would be sending for making contact.
It's quite all right, Kevo.
I think those two will both fail.
I'd rather
I see.
face to face.
Was there anyone else? Or are we done with our group phone call chatting?
I thought there was
I mean, I
3.
had-
I guess it was 2.
I had some other ideas, but we've sort of gotten the lay of what's going on in Lord Valen, I think, and that's really all the other stuff that I had would have been 4. So
Yep. The only other people I had on my list were Furlock, the pair of elves that you left in Veralia. I don't have their names to hand right now, but I can find them. I didn't write down their names. Jadra's brother, Riel, and Zandrak and the boat. But obviously you only left those very recently, so that was my full list of people I could think of. Good?
I think we're good.
I think so.
Mhm.
If I may, I would like to make a phone call now that everyone is done.
Mhm.
Well, not a phone call, whatever.
Scrying call, yes.
Scrackle, yes.
I'll scry to the person in charge of my druidic circle back in
Okay.
Veralia.
Yep. Did you name them by any chance? Did I name them? Did you name them? Did we name them? Did nobody name them?
I didn't name them.
Okay, bear with.
So-
I do have a whole list of druidic elves here. We have Therandrellin, we have Daywin, Jalissa, and Marala are all available.
What about Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men?
Nope, they're taken. They're halflings, obviously.
I'll speak to whoever picks up first.
Yeah,
I like Jacinda.
we'll say that Jalissa is the
Alyssa, yeah.
Jalissa is the head of your the head
Oh,
of
I
your
always thought
druidic circle.
Jalissa had such a funny name, you guys.
That is funny.
Those two
Who's
dudes
jealous
are
at me, bitch?
Sebastian, mind your tongue.
So you can call in, and there's a sort of brief hesitation where you note that it could have been blocked, Chiavo, but then it is allowed through. And you hear in Elvish, visitor, how may I help you?
Hello, Jalissa.
Oh, Rosania.
Yes,
You
tis
can
I.
send your stamp on the spell. You have
May
assistance
we,
with this.
may we speak in common, please?
Very well. Might I help you?
I'm surrounded by new friends that the paths of the stars have brought me.
Oh, that is good.
And as a matter of urgency, one of their contacts of the name Lord Lagon has been lost in the mountains near Elador.
See.
Could you perhaps communicate with the Dwarven King and assist him in obtaining his position?
I do have some ability in that respect, though
Yes.
we have been quite busy recently with the... Assuming you witnessed the strangeness 2 nights hence, or days hence,
Yes.
or... I don't know how... no, not hence. Other way, backwards. Anyway, 2 days prior. Yes, most of our people have been on that, but I can
Of course.
definitely spare
But
some
Jalissa,
time. Yes?
your time is... I could not even put into words how worthy it is and the matters that we're trying to solve, but I must assure you that finding this man is also of extreme urgency. He is out in the snow. We don't know how long he has left.
I have a contact a little closer in the area. He left long, long ago, but I believe he took up a position as a scout in the area. It's not Reno. Let me that for free. I could perhaps get in contact with him. He's more likely to be able to find them on foot than I am from the sky.
You
He's
could.
adept in the
You're-
way of animals. Might be able to communicate with a few. See what he can do. I'll get on that. Where should they take him if they find him? You mentioned the Dwarven King. To Eladar?
I'll I'll allow my companions to answer for this part.
I believe Henrik is nodding in the background.
Yes.
Yes,
well,
hello there. We believe as strongly as we can trust anyone at the moment that the king of the dwarves there would put him up and take care of him and protect him. So that would be fine.
I don't like dwarves much. They do tend to be dependable.
He is singularly open to others beyond his own kind. So hopefully he's a little easier to deal with than perhaps some.
And this is not a matter of pride, sister. It's a matter of rescue.
Indeed. Well, I'm sure that Kalen is... no, rubbish, wrong name. What is his name? I do have the name of these people. Yevon. I'm sure that Yevon is a little more amenable to dwarves than I. Oh.
Thank you. Many, many thank yous.
Sister, if I may ask,
Yes.
you've mentioned that you are studying this strange
For what it's
stellar
worth,
occurrence.
I know nothing about it.
Well,
We pray for
perhaps
guidance.
we
but
shall.
receive little.
We will let you know if we find anything out.
It would be appreciated. So, she says nothing after.
Well, do you know anything of the cult of Talona? Talana? Whichever.
Talona.
Talona.
Like that. She thinks for a moment. I've heard tales. Goddess of poison, wasn't she?
It's just the only name we'd heard in association with any possibility of being related to this phenomenon. So
She locked away forevermore or something.
yeah, something about being locked in time and that the changing of time here sort of seer nearby. I thought there might be some sort of connection.
I see. I have a friend who remembers lots of things about stories long past. Get in contact. Let you know if I
Hope it
find
helps.
anything. If you can, I can't do what you're doing.
That's
Can't
fine. Seems we
initiate
can do it
contact,
quite a
basically.
bit, so
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll check in the future. We very much appreciate your participation in this.
Thank you, and look after my girl.
No, most certainly.
Fantastic. And as that phone call ends, we will take a short break. I need
Okay.
the bathroom.
Yes, I'll.
Hello. Welcome back to the second half of Beldania, episode 42. So, our party finished with their group phone calls. Chiavo shut himself in his library with his alchemy lab and never came out again. Rosania got toured around town by Hennek, who I'm sure would have shown Gia as well. And introduced
And
to-
thanked very much for getting the elves to help, by the way. I just sort of didn't get a chance to do that at the end of the phone call. But,
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was big. That was big, her contributing to the group. So I want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah. And then you guys will be able to relax, chill, shoot some hoops and whatever. Possibly pop around Hennek's garden and see it is overgrown wildly. There is a very stressed-looking next-door neighbor who sort of popped around, picked like 3 pieces of fruit, and then gone back home. Every now and again, he's not been able to keep it in any sort of shape, given what's happened to the world, right? There are some really exotic and cool, unusual plants and vegetables growing. There's a marrow the size of half a house, Not really, but it is very big. It's like 9 foot long. But yeah, in general, all that happens, and time expedites. On the 3rd day, a 7.5 foot humanoid with a monkey-like face drops in on you guys. Sort of knocks on the door and hello.
Hello. Can I help you?
Hello! I've been sent. Sorry, very distracting. Right? Can I help you, man?
That's for me.
Hello!
Hi. Are you who Furlock sent?
Yes, I'm Lugalia. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yes, come with me.
I
shall
have something
walk
for you.
him. Yeah,
I'll sort of stand by the door watching them walk in and say, "Yes, welcome to my home."
No. I want to walk
thank
him
you.
away from the house.
Okay, goodbye.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I don't want.
It's all very confusing and
these,
secretive. You must be
yeah,
Sebastian,
no,
right?
Just follow me, and I'll walk away.
I'll do that.
Yeah. So, and then as long as we're like away from the house, I'm very like, so what do you have for me?
Varrock sent an old tome. I hope you can read ancient Elvish.
No.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll work it out. He seemed to think you'd be able to. Here. And he like slams this massive tome. It is like this. And it is huge wide. And it looks like a book you've seen before, though a little bit different. That one talks. This one doesn't. But the writing on it is the same as the writing that Theseus has on his front head.
Okay.
Yeah, he hands that to you, and I believe that's from the last moon elf. I'm told to tell you.
Okay. Do you happen to have a translator?
No.
A scroll of comprehend languages?
No. You consider this message and parcel delivered?
Yeah, where do I sign?
And as soon as you say yes, he burns up from the feet upwards and disappears into a pile of ash.
Lord. Then I guess I'll just keep the book held to my chest, look over my shoulder back to the house and scurry off to my house.
Beautiful. Love it. You must share, Sebastian.
Why?
Because this is the 6th level spells for both of your characters, you little shit.
And
Wow.
Sabotage.
Because you just
I'll think about it.
Okay. Yeah. And although you don't understand 2/3 of the book, which are all written in ancient Elvish, you will understand the spell scrolls. So there are 22 spells in this book. The list will be provided to the two of you as and when.
Okay.
I could type it all out now, but I haven't got it written on the computer. Only got it written on paper. I forgot. What might be of interest is the 6th level spells. If you want to prep those now, then you may or learn those now. You may. They are Tensor's Transformation. Can somebody? I'll write. Because otherwise it'll be like 3 minutes, and then Jamal will go, "What was the 6th level spell?" And I haven't got time for that. There's Mental Prison. Is Vestiture of Wind. There is Izban's Platinum Shield. There is Abite. And Arcane Gate. Those are the spells. Oh, sorry, and Contingency. That's the one I missed out. Yeah, so those you may do with what you please now. The 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st level spells you can collect later. It may be of interest, specifically Hennick, that one of the spells in there is Thunderous Shout. It is a 3rd level spell. I think it's on the bard list. If you wish to add it to your spells, you may. I think you can do so with a feat. Double check that. I believe if you add the field, additional spells cast at 3rd level Wisdom, that may let you add the Thunderous Shout spell. Then again, it might not. I don't know. But yes, sorry, I should really have prepped the list of spells in advance.
Oh,
What are you doing with the rest of the tome?
So, I will at some point go back to the house. And I shall very nonchalantly walk over to Chiavo. And I'll say, "Hey, Chiavo, do you want to make a deal?"
A deal?
Yeah.
What deal?
I have something that you want, and if I share it with you, will you do all the grunt work and translate every piece of writing?
Is this because you can't translate it? Be honest with me.
It's not about what I can and can't do. The problem is that you can't cast this magic. So if I help you cast this magic, will you do all the grunt work?
That's a interesting way of putting it.
Give me an insight check, Gil. Josh, you may give me a suasion or deception, whichever you prefer.
I'd love to. My cat's sat on my dice.
Just because I threw her away. It's like, get off my keyboard. Whichever you prefer. Jamal, your insight check?
8.
Well, that's good.
I got a 21 on the persuasion.
Yeah, as far as you know, Sebastian most definitely can translate it. He's just choosing not to.
Considering that I know he can, then why would I want to help if I know he can?
Because he's got something you want. Magic.
But hang on, I thought you just said I couldn't cast it. So
Without his help?
it's like,
I think the help is him giving you the book.
right. Okay, then this will take me all of about 10 minutes. Just leave the book with me.
Oh, no, you don't get to keep it. Yeah, I will open the book for you and you can read.
Oh, sorry, it takes 1 minute to read 1 page of text. Yeah, so how many pages are there?
3,106.
Yeah. How about you do both of us a favor and start with this one, and I'll point to a page that I assume is the 6th level spell that I want.
Oh, no, you can write the spells in yourself.
Oh,
You understand
okay.
the spells, you just don't understand the whole book before that.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Then I'll open the book for him, because I don't really want him touching it. He probably has greasy paws. So
That's going to be a problem because I need to anyway.
you two what?
I need to be touching the book.
Why?
I need to be touching the page. Because
Why?
that is exactly how the magic works.
How about you hold my hand and I'll touch the page?
Kiavo, you already speak the language, you can just read it.
Oh, I thought you said it was ancient Elvish,
It
not
is,
just like
which
normal
you
Elvish.
learned from Theseus, if you remember.
Oh, I didn't realise I actually got ancient Elvish as a language.
You
I
can
thought
just
it was
write.
Elvish.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can just read it. You don't have to
Oh, okay.
touch it with your grubby paws. Was the phrase, Josh?
Hey, greasy
Greasy paws. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
But yes, you can
Wow.
read it, and you may read it out loud if you wish, or read it in your head, as it is an account of Silan Darwin. Yes.
Oh.
The last moon elf. And you'll get through about, I don't know, 20 pages today, 30 pages today. No, it's a page a minute. Is that right, or a page every 10 minutes?
A page every minute if I were to translate it. If I read it, it could be a page a minute, sure. What I could potentially do, assimilate knowledge is up to 500 pages at a time. I guess if I spread that out, and I was with the book for an hour, I could get the entire book for assimilate knowledge.
Sounds very wizardy.
As if you had read each page recently but not thoroughly. Yeah, I like that. As you assimilate knowledge, you will gain the tale of Silan Darwin. I will attempt to condense very thinly for now, because it is 3,000 pages long.
Yes.
But it basically tells of the tale of the decision for the Moon Elves to commit their lives into objects, and into the ritual spells that sealed away the Wild Elves. But it tells of Silan Darwin, who chose to keep herself away from her people, and instead help create herself a library of, as she claims, all knowledge. And you've seen this library of all knowledge in the Mages Guild. For Valum. Looks like this. Sting at the center, if you remember.
White screen for me. I'm gonna have to force refresh.
Okay, bye. But for everybody else, it looks like this. It is a globe of pure light with various swirling, intricate pieces of metal around it. And if one has the ability and the understanding, one can access any knowledge within this communal library.
It's that thing.
Speaking with it, yes, you met it in Academy of Shah. And as with Academy of Shah, you guys can't glean much knowledge from it because you're not Moon Elves. But it does.
We also saw it in this campaign when I went to the Mages Tower.
Yes, indeed. What the Mages Guild have managed to make it do is catalogue all the books in their library. That is all they've achieved with it. But from this account of Silan Darwin, you do find out that everything the Moon Elves ever knew was put inside this catalogue of knowledge. It doesn't tell you how to access it. For the most part, it seems you need to be a Moon Elf. But food for thought.
So the Mages Guild themselves, it's very evident they would not have been able to access the bountiful knowledge of the Moon Elves from within this.
No, all they've managed to do is make it do things for them. They haven't managed to access anything it already held.
I see.
With Theseus's assistance, you may potentially at some point be able to access knowledge that's inside it. But you will have to go to Norvalan, to the Mages Guild. Go chat with them.
And that also means going to Lorvalan, and, well...
Well, you're on your way, right?
Yeah.
But you do also get mention of something else, which is a key that is required.
A key?
Yes. And you are told that key for accessing this information, and also for potentially being able to assist with to access the seal on the portal, what it says, whatever that means. The reference is obviously something that was understood at the time, but perhaps isn't understood now. It was placed in the Great Mountain of Veralia, and it states at the end of the path.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's all it is.
Well, we certainly have something to do.
Mhm.
We most certainly have something to do.
If anybody
Oh my.
was unaware, there is one big mountain.
Yes.
It's that one.
So, does the book make mention of any other specific names aside from
Oh,
aside
hundreds of
from-
thousands, but not enough that you can sort of pick anything out specifically.
And okay, fair enough. I was going to see if there was a mention of the name Theseus. That would have been an
No,
interesting
it is
one
an
as well.
account of her life after the Moon Elves gave their lives.
Oh, after it. Okay, I thought this
She
was
lived on for another 500 years before committing her life.
right. Okay,
to,
I thought it chronicled like the decision itself and the people that did so. But that's
She
interesting.
chronicles that she locked herself away in the Library of the Moon Elves to protect their knowledge. This is obviously where Furlock has unearthed this book from. It is worth noting her soul is not in this book. It is just a book.
Okay. Well, Furlock sure managed to make an interesting find here.
It would seem that way. It's also a great excuse to go traveling. So as you guys spend the next 5 days reading that and grabbing whatever spells you want from it, just having a brief look through, seeing if there's anything that you guys might want that's in the list. Oh, do you know what? We can do it real fast. I'm just going to read them off, and if there's anything that you guys want to write down or pay attention to, then you may do so. First level spells are Fog Cloud, Thunder Wave, Unseen Servant, and Water Pulse. Second level spells are See Invisibility, Reverberate, and Knock. Third level spells are Slow, Summon Fey, and Intellect Fortress. Fourth level spells are Watery Sphere, Stone Skin, and Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, and Leomund's Secret Chest. And fifth level spells are Wall of Light, Wall of Force, Stasis Field, and Storm... No, not Storm Snake, sorry, wrong one. Synaptic Static. Just reading them off as fast as I can. After the session, I'm more than happy to give you the list in full.
Thank you.
But just in case there was any there that either of you were desperate for.
I think before we head out, I'm gonna write into my spellbook my 6th level spell.
Okay, just bear in mind it costs you 60 gold, yeah?
Yeah, that's
30
fine.
if it's an abjuration spell.
Yeah, no, it's. I think I'm gonna take mental tourism.
Okay.
If that's all right with Jamal.
Yeah. I'm just deciding which one I want to take.
Cool.
I think.
What you wanted Fizban's Platinum, Josh?
I'll get that eventually.
Okay. Cool. But now you guys have a really good excuse to go head out towards the path and a road to travel on. Obviously, this information would have been shared with you all. The last story of Sindarin will be shared with you all. Know of this information.
I was gonna ask, what does Rosania think of all of this? Like, is she even privy to the Moon Elves' existence? And or what about the Wave of Power?
Yes. Sorry, Moon Elves. You would have, Rosania, heard reference to them as ancient elves that died long ago. The Way of the Path you would know of. Few elves every now and again head off to seek the path. Most of them don't return. So, yeah, I mean, Rosania, if you do have questions regarding, where this information came from or anything about it, you're more than welcome to ask for this.
No, I mean, if I don't know what moon elves really are, then I don't think I'd have any interest.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the one thing that I guess would be relevant to Rosania is that the location at the base of the mountain of Varalia is something you would know a lot about Rosania, in that almost all of the people who go there don't come back. Those who go
Yeah.
into the mountain on the Veralia.
Had an auntie. She traveled there once on a vision quest. We never saw that auntie again.
It's terrible.
It
Perhaps your auntie
happens
did.
often.
Sorry,
Perhaps
Rico,
your
what
auntie
did you
didn't have
say?
friends like us. I said that's terrible.
Oh. I thought you went, very well. That's a
Wow.
strange response. Yes, that is terrible.
It is rather dreadful, yes.
Perhaps your auntie didn't have friends quite like us.
And perhaps we'll see her again if we go there.
Well, to be fair, we almost lost you in one of these, Torin.
Aye, that is true.
Don't worry. If I'm traveling with you, none of you will ever be at risk.
I think I heard that before once.
Oh no.
Well, we're all here still, Sebastian.
That is true.
You're right. She's here and well, I don't think I may not have a heart. She's here in your hearts.
Oh my god. Ouch.
I will ask, however, travelling from Sandringham to obviously, you were looking to go to number 2, is that correct?
I think
Why not?
if we can, yeah.
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 I wonder what your preferred method of travel is. Do you want to boat it down the river? Do you want to wander to Hobondon and then travel down the border? Do you want to walk across land? Have you any
Need a
interest in
boat.
that strange druid circle that you know that the masked mage may or may not have been connected with? North of Galir.
Oh, yes.
Dakron. Right, there's lots and lots of things that are on the way that you may or may not wish to visit.
I mean, boat seems to be the fastest, although the least.
Oh, just while I
Please,
remember, sorry, speaking of boats, you teleported from your boat. Did you ask them to take the boat anywhere particular? I mean, you may do so in retrospect if you wish, because you can send them anytime you like.
Meet them at Dacron.
Okay. The boat is... the
Oh,
boat
can
is
we
not
get it
going
up?
to make it here in the time that you walk 30 miles south, Jamal. But it can head in a direction and...
No, what I was thinking was if we, since you said retrospectively, I guess we could have asked. We could have
Okay,
asked
in
them
a
to do
week,
like a
it
couple
could
of weeks ago.
potentially have got to like Oldsmere.
Oh, right, okay.
That's
then
when you
maybe
left it a
would be
week
more
ago.
than a few weeks to get.
But
to
yeah,
Dacron
where
now.
would you like it to head anywhere particular? Is Dakron a good place for the boats to meet you?
Yeah. Because by the time we
Yeah.
make it to Lorvalon,
Well, the other option,
Right,
of
we
course,
could
is to
probably
go
to Lord Island.
like that. to
Yeah,
North
she,
Island, right?
if they can,
Oh,
if
yeah.
we can meet them around Lord Valen.
Yep, they will get there in that time. So that is
Okay.
absolutely fine. Cool. So the boat... Oh, stupid ruler. Boat goes to Lovallen. Sorry. Would you like to take boat down the river? I think... Oh, wrong river. Yes. Henrik knows some people who are on a different river.
I do. Yeah, different.
Someone said they had a boat too.
What? Someone has a boat?
Something. I swear someone said they had a boat. Maybe I'm tripping.
I mean,
Nice
I don't know
boat.
how I never got the impression that the river in Sandringham is very big. Like we could canoe for a while.
Oh,
but I
the
never-
river at Sandringham? Yeah, I mean it's big enough. I mean it thickens out quite a lot around Dakron, but yeah, I mean it's
Right.
you could take a proper boat down it. It's just, you know, the little brook where you skim stones is like an offshoot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, then a boat makes sense if we can get a boat that can take all of us and a cart and.
Is it Rosania that has a boat? I think it is.
You have a
Oh,
boat?
no, you have a boat, don't you? You do have a boat.
I'll grab my. I'll switch my hands and a little unicorn, a little swan appears in the hand, and you see that it's like a miniature boat.
Just a heads up, the feather token boat will only it's a one-time use.
Yeah.
So if you do choose to expend it, it will disappear.
Hey,
But
maybe
these
we
guys
won't
have a
extend
permanent
it
boat.
for
I don't know.
fucking going down the.
Yeah, I mean
the
you can just
river, dude.
go and buy a boat.
Which is why I was going to follow that by saying, this is for an emergency.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough, Rosania.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to drop into what's it called? Just you might be able to buy one, I guess, at Sandringham, but it'll be like a couple of rowing boats. If you want a
Right.
boat that will take all of you, you would need to head to the crossroads, which is over there. Like an 8-hour journey, 4-hour by mount. So you can head down to the crossroads and get yourself just a boat. Bear with me a second. I will tell you what is available for boating. Is yeah, I think we could say a rowboat. If somebody wants to just lob that in their inventory for now. Yeah, I don't think it's big enough to be. I don't think it's any bigger than that. But a rowboat, with 2 of you taking the oars, you'll be able to get down there pretty easily. I can imagine Sebastian will row, but the rest of you might be able to contribute.
He'll clap in rhythm of the heave hoeing.
Real helpful, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose it's better than mage handing the oar in the wrong direction while people are trying to row. It'd be rather
That's a
annoying.
Sebastian thing.
You will pass directly past Dakron. Have you any reason to visit Dakron?
I don't think we've ever even been to Dakron.
I've heard
I
about it.
think Hennick has in his past. Potentially Torin's been there for like fine shopping. There are lots and lots of artisans in Dakron, but not the sort that make useful things. The sort that make like beautiful pottery and real nice wooden furniture and stuff like that. Maybe on the way back you can buy some stuff
Yeah.
for.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's really you'd know that there's not much of anything useful. However, as you head on down the river, it is worth mentioning that the overgrowth of the wildlife increases as you journeys. You see it is more and more drastic the further south you go.
Oh.
Can we get a grip of whether it's because there's just less people to like tend, or
No, Dakron itself, as you pass the walls, seems to be struggling with greenery growing up the walls at paces that they can't manage.
Okay.
I mean, it's to the point that if you sit at the edge of the bank and have lunch, you will see the grass grow. It is that quick.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. When you get to about here, the river is no longer traversable. It is filled with grass and reeds and plants and all sorts. You can see that this is going to be difficult to... I'll use the ruler. As you look out this way, the growth is more than as you look out that way. And you can't really see much of over there. But yes, it does seem that left is less and right is more. Just as south is more and north is less.
So the closer we get to the Galera area, the more it grows.
Yeah. Correct.
Well, I wonder if it would taper off once we pass that strange druid grove situation.
So this is the ancient grove of... No, I need to open it. Bear with.
Trees. It's an ancient grove of trees.
What?
I don't know. That's what a grove usually is, so I was just sort of trying to
No.
make it
It
generic
belongs to
as
a druid
possible.
circle. Is the point. Pantheons don't so get it. Leviathan.
Wow.
She's not a very nice person. Weird group of druids. Meant to be evil.
Noted.
Well, with this information in mind, I'm quite upset about this matter. Because evil druids aren't good for the world, or for the people. So if you will all allow me, I would like to counteract this druid grove with my own druid grove.
All right, then. Go ahead.
We gladly support you, Rosalia.
Well, I'm not quite sure if it will be possible. I'm just going to attempt to maybe overrule the magic that is here to grant us passage. And we just post this in the chat.
Yeah, you can do
See
this
if it
here,
Oh, shit.
but it would make more sense, I mean, you would know as a druid, to try and sanctify the area where their grove originally was, right? It's only a sort of hour's journey across land if you wanted to go to where the trees are and try and, like, sanctify that place.
If
I mean, considering Rosanya's outburst just now of emotion, I think
Yeah.
that we need
Outburst.
to. I think that we need to follow up on this grove. I think that maybe
Mhm.
Oren
Just
would.
2 seconds. Josh, what were you saying?
I was going to say, if she casts a spell, I'm going to counter spell. Just
Why?
kidding.
Don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
Rosalia, yeah, I mean, you would know that, like, you would be able to sense that this energy is coming from not far from here, and these guys would have told you about this druid grove. Do you want to see the state of it before attempting to sanctify? It's like a 90-foot cube, isn't it?
Will that be okay with everyone?
By all
Certainly.
means.
Really helpful.
Then I'll follow this line of energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, as you get nearer and nearer, you see that the growth of trees and larger and larger. Until eventually you see what is a thick wall of trees, about 120 foot across, that are so close together that it's almost impossible to squeeze through, though you can cut your way through. Or you can convince the plants to move if that's something that someone can do. Squidge right. You are able to. I think you can. Yeah, just you squidge a gap in the trees. I think Henrik can as well, right? And you are able.
If the guys are coming with me, I'll make way through the trees. But if I'm going by myself, I'll just wild shape into something small that can go through.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody's. I think it would be good
Yeah,
if
we'll come
everybody
along.
goes together.
Yeah, then
We're dragging Sebastian along as well, begrudgingly.
Yes, you are. Come on, Sebastian, along. Because at the center of this ring of trees, see a huge ritual circle. It's 60 feet across in all directions. I mean, it would be, it's a circle. And it's got sort of dark markings on it. The ground is completely desecrated. There is no sign of growth or life in this circle. Instead, the ground is dead. The runes appear to be glowing, but drawn in blood. The whole thing pulses with light and energy. You feel a foreboding that almost prevents you approaching. You have found the source of the growth in and around Jorston. You'll be able to work that out pretty quickly, Henrik and Rosalia.
It seems that my outrage has led us down perhaps something bigger than we can take on right now. I must apologize for this impulse, but Henrik,
Yes.
do you think that combining the spells that you combined with Gia can stop this here?
No, I don't think that.
Huh?
As you turn to the side, there on the ground, kneeling in front of this circle, is Gia. This is where she buggered off to.
Ah,
Gia, how did you get here?
I wasn't wholly honest with you when I left Yagra's place. She thought that this circle might be worth visiting, but I thought I could deal with it alone.
Well, now you don't have to, one way or the other.
Where is that? An uncomfortable place. How came you to be here?
How exactly did you think you could deal with it alone? What sort of power are you hiding?
Not hide my power. I use it for good.
What exactly is it?
Well, it's mostly magic my mother taught me. But I'm calling to the earth at the moment. Asking it to rise up and trying to bring life to this area of death.
What circle do you draw from?
Circle?
What is your circle of druids, Gia?
We don't have a circle as such. Weird moment when I put a circle on the map at the same time. Sorry. That is for my working, not for yours. Yeah, and she explains that we don't have a circle. We grow up worshipping the earth. All of it. No specific area of it.
Gia, I think it's perhaps time we fill in our friend Rosania on your origin and the situation at hand.
Oh, of course. I love a backstory review. But yes, she will gladly tell you everything that Bruno knows about her being a wildlife. Everything that Bruno knows, not everything that Rosania knows.
Hmm.
So your character and your player may now have the same amount of information.
Yes, and so now you may understand why we've kept the secret from you, Rosania.
Hmm. And I suppose that came off rather harsh. I mean, teleportation and traveling, it messes with your brain.
It does. I didn't like that when we traveled.
We've also run into a fair few folk we couldn't trust along our various adventures, and so we're never too quick to extend
Well,
that.
I thank you for trusting me, but meaningful relationships aside, perhaps we should attempt to dispel the issue at hand. If Gia couldn't do it alone, maybe together.
Could I quickly expend the use of divine sense? Just
Mhm.
because.
Very much so.
I think it's just celestials, fiends, and
Yeah, there is no presence of any creature as such. But what Divine Sense will give you is a sort of very... That uneasy foreboding is like tripled when you turn on your Divine Sense, when you sort of begin to look through the eyes of Bahamut. It's beyond unnatural. It's otherworldly. It doesn't belong here, this circle, this rune. Yavo and Sebastian, as you look at this rune, you know that it's not something that could just be dispelled by, like, dispel magic, for example. And you would assume that a large number of people were involved in the creation of this. But more interestingly, the runes are drawn in blood, and it is 60 foot across. But these runes are drawn like a foot wide. That is a lot of blood. A lot of blood. And Gia will say, I think that a burst of life is the counteraction to a burst of death. So much death here gave so much life in Dalston. Worries me, but in some manner, the event might need to be reversed. Breaking this violently may result in the death of much wildlife and nature around Dalston. Which is why I'm trying to gently remove it section by section. I think I have managed to make the circle a bit smaller, but my progress is relatively minimal so far. She will lead you towards a point at which there is like a rune where she's managed to take away like 5 foot of the line.
So if we seek to remove the runes, that could help as well, yes?
Well, that's what I'm doing, but they have to be removed, like, as you go. I don't think she's got the words for it, but basically she's saying, like, she's making progress like an inch at a time.
I see. I'm not sure how much we could accelerate this, but
Well,
I'm not even sure where to begin with something of a project of this scale.
with such wizards and powerful people as yourselves, we could attempt a more destructive approach, but as I say, I don't know the repercussions for the wildlife in the area around.
You said a burst of life could counteract these effects?
a burst of life created this effect. It is the counteract of the death here. So it might be a burst of death to create life in this circle. In other words, if she brings life to this circle where the ruin is, it could bring death to all of that wildlife area around in the large circle. She estimates the circle to be about that large. And that's why the circle's there.
So the consequences of doing something wrong would be dire.
Even doing something right.
Could be dire as well.
Yagra hoped that my dispelling this might be the gateway in for Wild Elves to say that we have begun undoing the bad work that's been created. She said you would know more of politics than her. Many died here. Many, many died here.
Can't help but wonder who.
Can't help but wonder why. If my sisters were here, my brothers, those I grew up with, a large group casting could counteract this room more gently. We would need a lot of us.
How would you feel if I summoned a few more casters?
If we had a few circles of... Circles? That's what you call them, right? We had a few of the elvish circles of today. Might be the same as 6 or 7 of my people. I could ask my brother here.
I was more thinking 1 or 2 sea hags, a few pixies.
Oh? Calling on the people of nature. Could help. How the fuck are you doing that, by the way, Bruno? Just out of curiosity.
So
conjure
I
fae?
can conjure fae, and I can also conjure woodland beings if I prefer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
both at the same
the
time.
woodland beings wouldn't necessarily help, but the hags, etc., might. She suddenly she ponders this and definitely a thought. You have the time and energy to stop here. Focus on it. Well, you have your own path to tread, what Yagra said. There is something you can do to help me in the shorter term. It's an hour, but this undertaking may take a couple of weeks.
What is it, Gia?
I'm very tired and depleted. With the energy specifically of yourself, Henrik, and your friend here, Beldania, I get an energy from you, which you might be able to help. Perhaps some of the wizardly magic, if you could hold my progress in place so I can rest. Progress much more. I would progress much more swiftly afterwards.
And if I may, perhaps the divine magic that Torin imbues could give you some kind of energy support.
Yeah, I mean, I could lay on hands.
That would be nice, but sleep would be more welcome. It has been 6 days now.
You wouldn't want to hear a lullaby from me.
I can show you how you might hold this in place. It will only take me 4 hours or so to regain my energy. She needs a long rest, basically. That's where she's at. Yeah, basically it's going to cost you 2 5th level spell slots if you have them with it. Me and all of you.
Yeah.
2 5th level spell slots.
Yeah.
I'll
Sorry, you
stand
can blow
guard.
some lay of hands if you want, or stand guard, or
Yeah.
keep
stand
watch
guard.
over her as she sleeps. But the rest of you are 2 5th level spell slots, and she will be able to rest.
Yeah, I'll
you-
blow 2.
You genuinely see her color come back to her as she rests and meditates. Like, she gave a lot in this. She does hope her brother.
They're my only 5th level.
What?
You said.
Oh, 2 5th. Yeah, all of your 5th level spell slots. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sad. It's sad.
yeah, I'll do so.
That's okay. I'm sure you can take a
Yes.
long rest before going into the way of the path. But yeah,
Would hope.
what this entails. Sorry, go on, Joe.
No, I was just gonna also say, like, it doesn't come up much, but one of the things I put in here for one of my higher level features is that at this point, my Song of Rest, which, like, I know I can't quite mix in here, but like, she gets advantage on saving throws to avoid exhaustion if she participates in that. For a
Oh,
period of time.
yeah, I mean, definitely flavor-wise,
Might help.
if you
Yeah,
play her
right,
a Song of
exactly, that's
Rest,
what I
she
mean.
can most definitely recover a little bit more energy. And she will thank you greatly for that when she wakes up. But the process is quite simple. All you are doing is effectively pushing back with your magical energy to stop that rune refilling with color. She thinks if she
Nice.
can break the line across the middle, it will shatter the rest. She doesn't know.
Are we
Worth
in
a
the
try.
afternoon or in the evening?
Right now, it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. You're giving her till 9 p.m.
Okay, so as 9 p.m. comes by, I would like to go next to her as she wakes up. As she comes out of a trance, of course. And I'm gonna don off my cloak of moonlight. And I'm gonna wrap it around and I'm gonna say, I don't know exactly how tonight is going to turn out, but if the stories that you told me about your people and what you went through were as... Regardless, I wish you the best of luck, and this will help.
Thank you.
And so will I.
Warm. Appreciate it. Night is quite a wonderful place in your world. There is little difference between day and night under the ground where I grew up. All the elves always talked about the sun. They missed the sun. Those who could remember, those who knew of it, always talked about the sunlight, the great sky. What I think is most beautiful about this world, the sky is the stars. Amazing. Makes you feel small.
You know, someone once told me that some of the stars that we can see in the sky, they're not actually there anymore. They've burned out. They've disappeared deep into this darkness, but they still shine. And sometimes I wish that we can be like a star, you know, even after we're gone. Let our shine come through.
I think some people can.
Let's
Thank
do
you,
some good
Rosalia.
tonight, Gia.
And with that, I think that is where we're going to end. It's a poignant moment. Go on.
I was just gonna say, as they started that conversation, Sebastian would have tried to start magically deafening himself.
I'm sure you'll find a way.
Counterspell.
You
Yeah.
will hear this.
But that is where we are going to end. And I think... Bruno, I did end with Bruno. Bruno, your MVP for today. Was it the last minute?
Aside from feeling a little bit more in Rosanya's skin, which was more fun to play, I really enjoyed quite a few of the times where some of the characters like kind of reassured Rosa when she was feeling a bit more like an outsider and brought her into the plans. In particular, like when Henrik made a point of saying thank you for bringing the elves in, and when Torin asked like, "What's your opinion on this?" I really enjoyed that. And it was quite cool seeing Lord Laenor out in the peaks that we've been to before.
Oh,
I
Lagon.
mean, Lagon. Not exactly where we've been, but I just thought it's interesting revisiting that and thinking of the memories from that session and the ice troll and everything.
Oh
It's really
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
The
Well, you just
Oryx.
imagine, right? This one Duke and his little elf friend are way less well equipped to deal with that area than you guys are.
And I was kind of hoping for a Hennig single this session, but I get it. We're all busy, so it's okay. We've got new tracks dropping soon, so it's all good. That's it.
Sure we do. Josh.
So I have a little one, and that's when we were doing the scrying, and it was so stupid. Like, we would say, someone would say, "Oh, maybe we should, you know, use the suggestion to do this," and Jamal were like, "Hold on," and then repeat the same thing that we just said that we should do, and it's like, "You
Yeah.
clearly heard. Who are you clarifying for?" you know.
Yeah.
And then the other one is when he was talking to Lord Lego, but he made it sound so suspicious. Like, "You can't see us, but we can see you. We're watching you." It's like, what are you saying?
No, I got it. You were reassuring
know.
him that that you were only watching, you weren't nearby. But yeah, I did sound a little silly,
So,
so I would give you that.
yeah.
Jamal.
Shit, I can't remember what exactly it was. There was one thing that someone said at one point, and now it's just completely slipped my mind. Damn it.
Okay, we can come back to
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay,
See if,
Rico?
see if it comes back to me.
I thought there were a lot of really good zingers in this session, but the one that I liked was when Joe, as Hennick, said something about we're not sure if felon's a felon.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was
that was
like,
brilliant.
oh.
Court mage felon.
I
I'm
was
not sure
like,
he's the
oh.
felon we're looking for.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it
Not
was
sure who's the
brilliant.
felon we're looking
That's still
for.
my
That was
MVP.
brilliant. Truly, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's fine.
Joe.
So I know it's sort of just a minor background, but I was staring at the exterior of Torin's house and realized at one point that the branches on the tree are a giant snail. And I was really excited by that because I love a giant snail.
Yes.
There's it's like
Hey.
fungus, but then there's a huge snail. Yeah. To me, that was it. But also earlier, just Rico going off on the how bizarre thing. This
Oh
song.
yeah.
God, that's just this song. Yeah, it's just
Great
stupid.
song. Great song.
I don't know, but I mean, that was obviously lots of the story stuff was good, but a couple of weird, dumb little things stood out to me today.
For me, obviously, I really enjoyed that last couple of minutes with Rosania. I had originally thought that you guys would bypass it because I thought you'd go to the Yukon border and walk down. But it was a really helpful moment for you to actually find out what she was doing, as opposed to her, struggling. And I mean, you're never going to see it now, so she was. I suppose, she would have made contact with you and you would have found out about this in the future. So it was really nice for you to go the other way around and find her. So I enjoyed that. But I actually just really liked the idea of the rebuilding of the Golden Brand estate. This was just some little sort of side questy moment of just like, we need a base.
Exactly.
And by the time you guys hit level 20, like that Golden Brand estate is going to be like magically extended. It's going to be private mansion. There's going to be like a full team of running magical servants involved.
Hell yeah.
And your parents are going to come home from or going to visit, from their home.
Furnished
and just
with
be
the
like,
finest
"What
wares
the
from
fuck?"
Dakron.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool moment. Just a nice thought. And of course, Sebastian trying his best to hide all of the wizardly power from little Kiamo. Jamal, anything that we...
That was it. The first, there was two here. I remember what the two were. The first one was felon's not the felon we're looking for. That was that 2-1. But then the other one was Sebastian being really fucking shifty with the book, and it's just like, yeah, no, you can't read this, can you?
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
When you were like, it's an ancient Elvish.
I also liked how nonchalant Sebastian was when the monkey-faced creature burnt up to ashes in front of him, and he was like,
No.
I suspect no less when it comes to magic. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is he was never real, right? Is basically how it works, so he just burns up in his face. But that is where we're going to end, so if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We shall see you soon.